Welcome to Coastal Conversation, episode 21. Thank you for listening today. Remember, as always, Colossians 4:6 reminds us to let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. As always, that is our goal. Well, our guest today is Pastor Jeff Calhoun. He is the founding and the lead pastor of Bayside Church and By Your Side Ministry in Mobile, Alabama. Coastal Church feels a divine connection to Pastor Jeff, his wife, and Bayside Church. We love to partner with them to see the Gulf Coast know Jesus. Today, you are going to be inspired and encouraged. So help me welcome to Coastal Conversations, Pastor Jeff Calhoun. Welcome so much.
So good to be here. I'm excited about this.
Thank you so much for being here. You're one of Coastal's favorite guests to have and favorite people to have here. You have preached here before. You've done interviews with Pastor Chad live. And I wanted to maybe tell people that have never met you or seen you or known you. You were here several years ago. In fact, about 2 years ago, Coastal Church does every year a thing called Giveaway Sunday. Yeah. And at that time, Bayside Church was really just kind of, they have launched and y'all had been in the thing. We're going to talk about that, but you were getting a property that you needed down payment money for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Coastal Church committed to our Giveaway Sunday, giving you a large chunk of change towards chunk of change toward that donation. Yeah. How much did it end up being for that giveaway?
$145,000.
Yeah.
And even a little more trickled in afterwards from people that had heard what was going on. Amazing. I'm still in awe of it.
It really was a great Sunday. So that Giveaway Sunday, I want to encourage you, if you were not here, go back in our archives on our website, watch that interview that Pastor Chad did with Pastor Jeff, because you'll hear a lot more than you're going to hear today on the podcast, and just hear his heart for Mobile and for Bayside Church and By Your Side Ministry. But so currently we are in the 21 days to feed the world. Yeah. And this goes along with our 21 days of prayer and fasting. What Pastor Chad has asked everybody to do is, as part of our fasting, maybe fast lunch or fast eating out for lunch, and then take the money you would spend on that and give it to the Dollar Club. And then we're going to take that money in the Dollar Club and give it away to 3 organizations.
Yeah.
Calcutta Mercy Ministry in Calcutta, India, which is great. And we've done that. Yes. We've served them before in that way. A Prodigy Pantry right here in Baldwin County that, feeds tons of people on a weekly basis. It's an amazing ministry. And then Bayside Church.
Oh, my goodness.
Because we feel that divine connection to you, and we just want to continue to serve your church in that way. So I can't wait till the 25th at the dessert party when we make the announcement of how much we've given to the Dollar Club and how much we get to give to these ministries. So if you want more information about that, you can go to our website on the Starving page about our fast and learn all about the 21 days to feed the world and give towards this initiative that we are in. But I just want to start. So maybe let's get started and catch some of us that are listening that maybe don't know about Bayside or By Your Side. Give us a quick story of, how did it all start? How did this begin?
I was shocked that it was suddenly here, to be honest with you. We had pastored in Lomax Assembly of God in Clanton, Alabama, been there for almost 20 years, thought we would be there forever, had an amazing church, built 2 beautiful buildings, had incredible staff that was family to us. And one day out of nowhere, God just spoke to me and my wife and said, it's time to walk away, to go to the next thing. And so we cried for a long time and got through that. And it was ironic. You talk about the divine connection. Pastor Chad sent me a text right after we resigned the church. And God had given him a word for us as me and Donna. And that just linked us right then. It was so powerful because we had knew of each other, but we never knew each other, me and Pastor Chad. So that was such an encouragement to know God is speaking through that. And so that was our huge connection. So anyway, we left the church, traveled for about a year, just praying, God, what do you want us to do next?
Yeah.
Everybody assumed you're supposed to go to another big church, a bigger church.
Yeah.
And so that's the assumption. And so we were blessed and had a lot of incredible offers, and but we just never felt good about them. We just felt like God's not in that. And God gave my wife a beautiful dream and ended up sharing, revealing that we're supposed to be in Mobile, Alabama.
Wow.
We had never been to Mobile, Alabama, except for district council. We'd never been in downtown Mobile ever.
Right.
We got off 65 going west, and that's pretty well where we stayed. And so moved to Mobile in January of 2020. I launched a church and a youth room of a church, of another church here in town. And lo and behold, COVID hit just as we launched. So that was a lot of fun, but we endured through it. So we ended up moving downtown. We kept feeling drawn downtown. And so we ended up going to a Mardi Gras house, one of the ugliest places I've ever met in my life. It was so this is huge compared to that space, but we had the best time. We got in there and done it. Then we moved to Cedar Street Social Club, a private bar downtown.
Wow.
And held every our services in their bar. It was pretty cool because we had a canopy put up in the bar section that we put Bluetooth earphones and a TV. That was our children's church.
Wow.
And so you would hear them laugh every now and then in the middle of the message and preach it all. And then we took the VIP booth and put a baby gate in it, and we made that our nursery. So we had the first VIP nursery,
There
I
you
think,
go.
in the world, but it worked.
Yeah.
And so we were there for a season and just had such a special time there as we began to grow. And so then we ended up moving downtown in the old police department next to Spotted Tea. Everybody knows where Spotted Tea is.
Right.
And so had a great group of people with us. And one of the memories I remember there, it was so special, was people would walk across the street and we thought, well, they're coming. We'd be there on Sunday morning, excited, the team's revved up.
Yeah.
And then they would turn at the last second and go to Spotted Tea for brunch. And so we go, oh, never mind. Well, that was fun for about 2 weeks.
Right.
And then it got discouraging. So I kept noticing when we first got here, we wanted to preach to anything or anybody. Me and my wife was just so hungry for ministry. So we would go down to the squares and preach to those who were homeless and the squirrels. And so we did our first
lots
and them healthy squirrels too. Them fat squirrels. They fit real well downtown Mobile. Of course, we have very healthy homeless people too, so we can take pride in that. But we did our first Easter service. Me, my wife, and my baby girl. She did worship, and we did communion right there in the square with a bunch of homeless folks and squirrels. And so, anyway, we kept looking out the window. I said, "Well, there's homeless people everywhere out there, guys." So we said, "Let's go to them." So we bought donuts and coffee, went across the street, and I would share the gospel. And they said, "Hey, why don't y'all come to church?" I said, "You mean we can come to church?" I said, "Well, yeah. It's yours."
That's right.
Next thing you know, we have 120 plus homeless people showing up. We go to multiple services. We outgrow the facility. Met a gentleman named Chris Thomas from Port City Refuge. He called me, wanted to have lunch with me. So we went, and he shared his vision. He said, "I want to start a church, but I want to make sure you're good with that." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't care. You can put a church here where you want to."
That's right.
Plenty of lost folks in Mobile, Alabama. We're good. So I felt like inviting him and his team to come and just do a run through with our service. I said, "Come on over and hang out with us and do one." So they did. It was an awesome day. They were so excited. You can't beat that freshness. Well, later that week, the Lord spoke to my heart and said, "I want you to give this church to Chris Thomas."
The building.
To plant the building, the stage, the equipment, everything, at chairs,
Everything. Like, you have to fundraise for all that.
Oh.
That took
It took a full 2 years to get the money. We're
and
talking
get
about
all of
thousands
this.
of dollars.
So this is like several years into it.
Oh, yeah.
We're fast forwarding, and then you've got people, you've got services going, you've got everything
Absolutely.
kicking.
and
And then-
growing, and
God again tells you lay it all down.
just lay it all down. Give it to him, because he had shared in our meeting he had a heart for homeless folks. And so I'm like, I didn't come here to pastor homeless people. I love it.
Yeah.
I miss that element of it. I'm just saying we just want to build a church. Don't care who comes. We just want people there. And so, it was an amazing moment. So I called Pastor Chris. I said, "Man, what if I just give you everything but the name? You can have everything but the name." And he just started weeping. He said, "Pastor, I didn't tell you this because I don't know how you tell somebody this. But when I got done preaching, I'm standing there at the altar and just weeping. And I said, God, this is what I want. This is what I'm looking for." Because the homeless church is different. It smelled different. It looked different. It different.
Yeah.
And you got to be called to do that. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. And if you go back and listen to your interview with Pastor Chad from that Sunday, you tell some stories. It's like, some of it got really volatile sometimes. And then y'all end up having to have like a clothes there for them to change into because they were just so filthy. And to help them out.
Slept in their own vomit, their own fluids. I mean, just
and then come in.
It was rough. We had to sanitize the place between every service for health reasons, not just because we wanted it pretty.
Yeah.
We had to do it, but we loved it. We absolutely loved it. So he said the Lord spoke to him in that moment and said, well, this is yours. This is home. And he's like, I just keep hearing that. And then you call me a week or so later and tell me that. So God bless them. Well, now we're left without a church.
Yeah.
And so, and I've never told this before, Jennifer, but God brought it back to my heart this morning. I was praying about this event here. And 2 years prior, I had went out to Metro Ministries by Bill and Cheryl Gray looking for it because I'd heard about it. And I said, I'm going to go find that place. And we were looking for a building because we had looked at over 200 places for a building. And so I drove by and I simply thought it. I didn't say it. I simply said in my mind, I said, boy, Lord, I'd love a place just like this. And then 2 years later or so,
it's yours.
God makes a way. And so I contacted.
It's a beautiful, it's a big building.
It is, and it's getting prettier.
Yeah.
So renovated after 30 years, which we took some of the $145,000, put it towards that. But I contacted Mr. Bill about borrowing the building. Every 3 months, we want to do a church-wide event to where everybody can come together. And the temple we had been borrowing right behind our church was not available. So I called and said, hey, you got a big gymnasium. That'll work for us. And so he said, well, we don't rent out our building. I said, okay, all right. So then he texts me and says, can we do lunch? I said, well, yeah, we do lunch one day next week. He said, no, I mean tomorrow. I said, well, okay. So we go to lunch, and this is all after the fact that we've just given our building away. And so he comes to lunch. He said, now, I've heard of you, but I don't know you. He said, I want you to tell me about your salvation experience and your ministry. I said, okay. So I told him. He said, what about your wife? I said, well, she's saved too. I think most of
we hope.
I hope so. But anyway, we laughed. And so when it got done, I could tell he was puzzled. And I said, Mr. Bill, are you okay? He said, well, I don't think so.
Wow.
I said, well, what's wrong? He said, well, when I hung up the phone and I told you we won't rent it to you, the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, you won't rent it to him, you'll sell it to him.
Wow.
And he said, we've lived in that building for 27 years. That's home. And he said, are you interested in buying it? I said, I don't know. This just completely threw me off guard. I said, how much you asking? He said, I don't know. Yeah. Long story short, he told us what he could take. I told him what we could pay. We met in the middle and started that journey. And then we just said, God, I don't know how in the world a little church like us
is going to raise all that money.
Full of homeless folks. I mean, we don't, not a lot of income in that. And, but God just said, just do it. And so, thank God, here we are. Next week is 1 year ago we bought that building. Can you believe that?
No.
A year
that is
passed.
Incredible.
It's incredible. And
everything you guys have done in that building, if you don't know, like you can go on Facebook and follow Bayside Church.
Mobile.
And you guys do updates of what you're doing and the work days. We've sent teams over there for work days. Absolutely. And then you have people that continually come and help you.
Absolutely.
Not just from Coastal, but all around.
Yeah, we're blessed. Yeah.
People see, landscaping needs, plumbing needs, electrical needs.
All kinds of goodies, yes.
AC needs, all the things. And they're like, well, we can do that. Yeah. And I think that's what the church is about. It's about seeing what you can do and meeting the need. Yeah. And it's just so amazing what God has done in that building.
Yeah.
So it took a ministry that Bill and Cheryl were faithful to that community, faithful to serve those people. And then they were kind of in their, transitioning season to a new season in life and really didn't know what was next for them.
Yeah.
And then God has this, it's just the steps of the righteous are ordered of the Lord and he delights in their way. And when God asks us to lay something down, we always have to know there's a reason.
Absolutely.
Because he has something bigger and he has something better in mind for us, And I think about sometimes when God asks us to move things, he'll trouble the waters so that we kind of get out of our comfort zone, but he always has something better. He's a good father like that.
He is. It was such an answer to prayer to everybody.
Yeah, it was.
He got his church, homeless church. We got a building. Bill and Cheryl was able to move out of that building and get a home, and now they travel and do prayer.
Yeah.
It was just a trifecta of perfection God.
Yeah.
And
it's only God when it happens like that.
Yes.
Tell me the community that the church is in. Where is it located for some people that don't know?
Orange Grove community, right out next to Bishop State College. And it's what some people call the bricks. It's the red buildings and the projects there. And there used to be a lot of those, but a hurricane several years ago demolished probably 2/3 of them.
Wow.
But it's in one of the poorest areas of Mobile. And they had already established Metro Ministries. And when we got there, Metro Ministries probably averaged around 12 kids because COVID had really wreaked havoc on the ministry there because
Right.
everybody had to stay in home, and they went into the homes, but it had really dropped off. And so, yeah, that's the community we're in. It's predominantly moms and children,
Mhm.
and 70% of the homes there have no male adult in them.
Wow.
And so that creates a very unique dynamic. Kids pretty well running. They're just out there, mom trying to work jobs and make it happen. And so they really don't have anywhere to go or what to do. So we said, well, hey, we got to fix that.
Yeah. So in this building now, you have Bayside Church that you do
Yes.
your ministry out of Sundays and Wednesday nights,
Yes.
right? And you have By Your Side Ministry. So tell us the difference, because that could get a little muddy if people don't understand what the two are.
It's very confusing. We try
No,
not to
it's
make
not.
it that way. But now we have Bayside Church, which is the foundation of the group that come in to do the ministry of this thing. So we have a church there. We turned the gymnasium into a youth room, foyer, and church.
And what do y'all do during the
And,
week? And then the summer, y'all have programs and stuff. Tell
Oh,
us a little-
absolutely. So
yeah.
we have Bayside Church, By Your Side Family Hope Mission,
Okay.
which Metro Ministries is under that covering. And what that is right now, we just got done with a great summer program, our first ever summer program. Kids would come in at lunch. We would feed them a meal. Part of the times we would actually teach them how to cook the meal.
Wow.
And that was fun to teach them that life
Yeah.
skill. And they loved it. We taught them how to change oil in cars, how to change tires, just any life skill. And so that was part of the program. But we would feed them. Some ladies would come in and fix meals for them. They got spoiled. We got Miss Cassandra. She brings some of the best food. I always try
Oh,
to be there on
gosh.
that day because
Yeah.
it's good food, boy. Girl, she knows she cooked. So we go there, but we teach them how to cook, and then we have activities, and then we have a Bible, which is my favorite. We have little
Yeah.
Bibles. They're free. We give everybody when it comes to our church, and it's the Gospels written in chronological order.
I love that.
And so we go through that with the kids. They all take turns reading, and then they expound on what they just read. That's such a special time. And then we do prayer.
Mm.
And then one day a week, we take them to rec buildings and go to splash pads, anything free that we can use with the city. And so we did that. It was
That
amazing.
that takes funds to feed them.
A lot. The food.
How many kids did
the
y'all average
travel.
this summer?
This summer, we were anywhere from 30 to 50 kids.
Wow.
And in the Metro Ministries, which is on Wednesday night, is what we call controlled chaos.
Right.
And they say, how do you do controlled chaos? Well, it's chaos, so we try and control the damage that it does or doesn't do. If the police doesn't come or ambulance, we feel very
It's a win.
successful on Wednesday nights.
yeah.
But so that ministry has gone from 12 to now we have anywhere from 125 to 150 kids in the building on Wednesday night. And so
Wow.
we run vans. We got 3 old vans
Yeah.
that we just pray over and run them.
Yeah.
And so the fuel of that is always an expense and that kind of thing. But you got the food, you got clothing. These
Yeah.
kids, they don't have anything. And we just going into school, and school uniforms are expensive, and the
Yes.
shoes, and they have to be a certain color and a certain style and a certain, which is fine. But
And backpacks and school supplies
absolutely
and-
big money. I think last year we spent over $8,000 on clothes and those kind of things.
Wow.
And most of these kids, if they can afford one, they'll wear the same thing every single day. Same pair of pants, same shirt, same shoes. And so we're like, well, we got to come along beside these kids. And so we did. And so we help provide clothing for them. We'll see them come in with some pretty rough looking shoes and all. We'll pull them off the side and go, hey, about time to go shopping with Pastor, ain't it? And then, yes, sir. And so we'll take them and get them some clothes. And they're always very appreciative. But yeah, the expenses of the summer program was huge with feeding them. I mean, that cost a lot, and teenagers eat a lot of food.
They do.
And so, and we're doing this summer, our after school program. We have it going, first priority, coming out of school, get a snack, and then do your homework. And then we do activities, Bible time, and those things. So we have that going on with that program. And so, yeah, Metro is just huge in that regards.
Wow.
And it's a lot of fun.
Tell us about a story of life change that you've seen in some of your, or one or two of your members at your church. I know there's a lot of stories, but
There's
tell us a story.
You know, I pondered it as I prepared for this, and there's 2 things that stood out to me that I think really show the heart of what we're doing. We got a text, and I got it right here on my phone from a mom the other day, and this
Okay.
is the text about her son.
And this is a single mom
This
in
is
the
a single
Orange Grove
mom
area.
in the Orange Grove area. We met her son. He played on the basketball team. We were there
Okay.
to support our basketball players, and so we sort of built a friendship with him. And he had been coming for several months to our church, and this is what she sent us. I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart, because last year at this time, my son was in a very dark place But one Wednesday night, he attended your church and he loved it.
Wow.
He's been going ever since then. Y'all truly saved my son from them cruel streets, and I am forever grateful. I am honored to allow him to attend because he has truly done a 180 compared to last summer.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, that, the kid's different, and mama sees it, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a common, a young man named Jason. Jason's a big fella. I mean, not big like me. He's just a big athlete guy.
Yeah.
And he was so just angry all the time. And he fought, man, we had so many fights with Jason. But basically, if you laughed in a room with him, he just assumed you was laughing at him. He just go get on you. And so it was constant fights, constant having to get the law, this type of thing. But we kept loving him. We don't throw anybody away. And I just kept meeting with him and realized he was coming from a bad situation. So this past Sunday, you'll love this. We had a couple that's been together for 12 years, got 4 kids, started coming to our church and been a part of our church now for a while. God stirred their hearts and said, we want to make everything right in our lives. And we want to get married. We can't afford a wedding, but we want to make this right in God's eyes.
Wow.
I said, you don't worry about that. We'll throw the wedding. So we threw a wedding yesterday in our church service and had a reception. It was so cool.
That's awesome.
And like 30 or 50 of their family members showed up, which was awesome. So we got to miss them. But we're cleaning up after that. And I'm taking 2 big bags of garbage around. You know, people come, y'all get this all the time. If you grab something, oh, Miss Jennifer, let me do that for you.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm not that guy. I'm like, leave me alone, let me serve. So they pretty well do. And so I'm headed out the door and it's hot Sunday. Oh my goodness. So I got 2 big bags of garbage. Here comes Jason, the young man I was telling you about, the fights all the time, angry all the time. Comes running up, Pastor. He said, let me take that. I said, now, Jason, no, please, Pastor, please.
Wow.
Let me take it. And I said, well, here you go, buddy. And so I watched him as he walked through all of his little friends that were playing basketball. Some of them hollering, talking, cutting up with him, and threw it in the dumpster. And in that moment, I realized he's not the same kid.
No.
He's humble. He's proud in the right way. He's not entitled. He realizes what servant is. And it just, to me, that was such a beautiful picture of what we're trying to do in these kids' lives. We're always, you're better than that. Live to honor God. Don't let your culture dictate who you are, what you are. Respond, don't react. I've said that to Jason thousands. Did you react or respond? To where now you have to ask him when he gets in a situation. Well, you hadn't in much, thank God. But I look at him and said, Jason, he goes, I know, I reacted. I said, when you react, they're in control. When you respond, you're in control. What is respond? Think. Pray.
Stop. Yeah.
Consider what's happening. How do I honor God in this situation? And you see moments like it and you realize, they're actually listening. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So anyway, that's just a couple of stories. And you know me, Jennifer, I'm a talker. I could stay here for a week with you.
Tell me about how Bayside Church, by your side. So by your side, you actually have people living in that building. Tell us about that.
So one of the things we found in dealing with homeless is that there was a few places that would let a mama stay with her babies.
So sometimes they have to separate.
They have a women's shelter and they have DHR children center, but they don't have together. Yeah. And so we would lose them because we'd start ministering to them and they'd move around because they didn't want to get caught and lose their kids. And so it was a desperate place. Well, God had given me the vision of By Your Side. I didn't know what it was. He just gave me the name. And so when we toured the building, there's these incredible rooms upstairs.
It really is. It's great.
It's a beautiful place. And so I felt like this is an opportunity. So we came up with By Your Side Family Hope Mission. And what it is we bring mamas with their babies and their children into their place, give them a safe place to live. It's got a kitchenette, it's got showers, it's got everything they need to live comfortably. There it is. They get their own space, their own key to their own door. I mean, it's theirs. And so the mamas, we train, develop, get them ID, whatever they need, physicals to get a job and get a good job. So they go to work. We take care of the kids or provide free childcare for them. And then mama, we teach her how to budget. We create a budget for her. We put a budget system in her phone where she can keep up with her stuff. Teach her why we value budgeting. We give her all the Dave Ramsey we can give her. And so we developed that. And so they give 10% as a tithe to the church.
Yeah. They
give 20% goes into a savings fund to where they are saving up money. And over a 9-month to a year program that we are, that money goes into a savings account.
Wow.
And at the end of their term, when they graduate, that money pays deposit, rent, utilities to get them started
That's so
with their
good.
new place, their new home, their new life. And so it's an exciting thing to watch. And listen, I had a mama tell me this just a couple of days ago. She said, "You give me my dignity back."
Mm,
She said, "I now get it. I understand. And I can take care of my kids."
wow.
And so that's a beautiful moment.
So
Matter of
good.
fact, Jayla, our first one, was in Metro Ministries when she was 4 years old. Now she's in our program there. Got a husband, got a small toddler. Her and her husband had some issues and abusive things happening there between
Yeah.
two of them. Come out of jail, came into our program. And I had dinner with them, me and my wife, just a couple weeks ago and spent 2.5 hours just talking about their future and their marriage and getting them back together. And so when she comes out of the program, we hope this home is unified completely. They're in church with
Amen.
us now. So it's just neat to watch lives just turn around. That
Yeah.
little Richie, whoo,
Yeah.
live wire. But
Oh,
we're giving him parents that love each other.
that's right.
We're giving him parents that know
You're
how to handle
changing a
the budget.
generation. Yeah.
And the husband told me this. He said, "My dad died when I was very young. I've never had anyone teach me how to be an adult."
Wow.
I was like, wow. And so we're going beyond the women. We're going deeper into their relationships.
Yeah.
So, and then we start here in a couple of weeks, we're starting the Sunday afternoon class for those residents. That's, we're using the same literature as Alabama Teen Challenge, which is
Wow.
incredible
That's great.
on Christian living and how to live. So a lot of fun there. So we're doing so much. We're
That's
trying
so
to do all we
good.
can, but it costs money. We
It
provide
does.
food for them. It's just a lot there.
And electricity in that building
Oh,
to
yeah.
so when these people give to the Dollar Club this month and we're 21 days to feed the world, it truly is not only feeding the world but helping a community in a practical way make a difference. And so these people, we're not giving them a handout, we're giving them a hand
There it
up
is. Yep.
to make a better life for themselves in a godly way and
Yeah.
setting those foundations, restoring families. Oh, I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. You guys are just amazing. Tell me about the community around it. So this Orange Grove community,
Yes.
how is it responding to you guys being there?
You know, initially we were the white church.
Yeah.
And I understood that because we were predominantly, which now that's not the case at all. Thank
They
God.
understand.
But they needed to trust us. They thought we were there pity, charity, and handouts. And now they're realizing, no, we're a church and we want you to be in the church. So now our reputation has
Changed.
vastly changed and so now they encourage people to come, they encourage to attend because they realize we wouldn't give you handouts, but we're here to help you and your family be a part of our church. And so it's been really amazing how much we've been accepted. We're going in about 4 weeks. We're going to go door to door, knocking on doors, just saying, "Hey, we're here to pray for you and your family."
Yeah.
And just do that. Let them know we're here to love you for Christ. And so they've really accepted us and opened up to us, and that's been really nice. And we feel more like a family than just a church in your community. So
I think we covered one of our last questions was how the money given to Bayside and by your side will allow you to do more. It will just any thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, we have people in bad situations. I got a text from one of our young men that's a football player. He's been looked at by Michigan, Georgia, the other school in Alabama, and the University of Alabama. and so he's been looked at by all of those. He's just a sophomore. But I get a text the other night, "Hey, Pastor, I'm sorry to bother you so late, but me and my grandmother, we haven't eaten today, and I really could use some food." And I'm like, he said, "Coach told me I need to gain weight." And so I'm just like, what? I mean, you're being looked at by all.
And you have no food.
You have no food. And so, long story short, their power had been turned off. They lost their car. He was staying with grandmother to be able to get to school and that kind of thing. Just a bad situation. Mama had some physical issues that caused her not to be able to work. And so, just innocent stuff. But anyway, we help them. So we have that all the time, power bills, and we never give out money. And we always consider the situation, circumstances, the history of the situation. What are you doing to make it better to going forward? So we just have needs at all times. And that's the thing I tell people. We're a mission church. If we were in another country, we could raise money easily. Yeah. But we don't understand the concept of missions in America, and there's poor people and hurt people that are doing the best they can. But I got mamas working 2-3 jobs for 2 or 3 kids, and they're just doing all they can that are victims of bad situations, COVID, finances right now, and they're still trying to recover from it. And so the more we grow, the more the needs expand.
Yeah.
And so it's a really neat, unique dynamic. 70% of our income comes from outside of our church. because we've never been supported by a denomination, a fellowship, an organization. It's all been people that followed us on social media, churches like you that God has put in our lives and made the difference. So, I tell people we'll never have enough money because all the needs are just going to keep coming. So it's a continuum, and we're a mission like that. So, but yeah, we get a lot of offers for clothes, and if I had a building 100,000 square foot, I could fill it up tomorrow.
Right.
But we don't have the facilities. Please don't.
Yeah.
We don't just go throw money away on clothing, but we do try and get the right stuff for their school uniforms.
Right.
It has to be specific. So, but we will buy food, clothes, get jobs, physicals, take people to medical. We give people rides to the hospital at times that they can't afford any other way. We still help homeless people. We have homeless people. There's probably 50 that live in the woods back behind us.
Right.
And so they still come in desperate need, and we buy generators, and we buy things to help them, fans in this 100+ degree heat. And they're still a part of our church, still actively involved in our church. And so they're not all takers. They give what they can, how they can. So, yeah, it's just we try and be very responsible to say, hey, it ain't just charity. We're trying to make sure and challenge them. You got to take care of yourself. And so hopefully that answers and gives a little more insight on what we're doing.
And it's good soil. It's good soil to sow seed into,
so.
And I think that when we give above and beyond our tithes to organizations like that, man, we're planting good seed for our family, our future, our church, and seeing the Gulf Coast saved is more than just a Sunday saying that we it is also in Mobile. We all have the same mission, and that is that Mobile will be saved, the Eastern Shore will be saved. And this is how it happens, is all of us working together, giving what we can to make it the best and make it what it, all that God wants it to be.
Y'all believe like we believe. It's seed, and that can be an abused ministry, but it's not. We give a percentage to missions.
Yeah.
We give a percentage. We support things you guys do and back to you guys because we believe that's where it comes back to us. And so we're not just takers, we're givers. I've been pastoring a long time, and these principles have worked over and over again.
And you've pastored thousands of people.
We have.
God asked you to lay it down and then start humbling again. And it's been difficult even for you and your wife. You guys have needs that go unmet. I know your wife, car trouble. Gosh. I mean,
God help us.
I'm telling you, God's going to
pray for that little brown Mini, please.
One day there's going to be a brand new car sitting, and you just hide and watch. That's how God does it. There's going to be a brand new car sitting in that driveway.
Don't let it be a Mini Coupe, please.
Right? No. But all that to say, you guys have needs as well, and you have chosen to take this hard road to serve these people. And I just am so grateful to know you. I'm so honored to know you and your wife and everything you guys do. I know that God is going to do big things there, and He is doing big things. I mean, it is just amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that this community has began to trust you so quickly and come in there, that's a huge statement.
Yeah. And it's not that. They trust us and they protect us. There was a massive fence around that thing, 6 foot with barbed wire on it.
Is it still there?
No, we tore all that down. First week. I said, we're not a prison. And we took it all down, and I kept being told they're going to steal everything out there. They're going to run. I'm like, no, they won't. Once they know who we are and why we're here, they'll protect us. And we literally have had things that were taken show up the next day. I don't ask how, don't care how, just as long as it does. But it's like the community's like, not here. That's ours.
Wow.
And that's been so cool to watch. And I mean, when the hubcaps are gone one day, you come back next and they're back. You're like, thank y'all. Appreciate it, neighbors. Don't know who you are. Appreciate it. So, that to me is a huge testament to their trust in us. So it's a lot of fun. But at this point, we're Coastal Dream Center. Let's just
That's right.
You guys, y'all so mixed in that. Come on.
That's right.
Financially,
we have people that go over and serve.
They do.
Yeah.
It's a crazy. I love it.
They love it.
Yeah.
And I would just encourage anybody that's listening or watching, if you have a skill that you want to offer Pastor Jeff to say, hey, if you ever need somebody to come fix your air conditioner, your electricity, or whatever, I have this skill, I can donate my time. If you ever have a need, let us know. Please reach out and let us know so that we can let Pastor Jeff know to have that available.
Well, we also, we would do mentors. Now, mentor is a fancy word for build a relationship with kids. And so a lot of people come on Wednesday night, hang out, play with them, goof off with them, be there to pray with them, build that relationship where they'll open up to them. So that's mentoring in our way. And so we never can get enough of them because we got 100 and something kids to 12 adults trying
Yeah.
to do that. So it's a lot tough. So that's a skill we always want people involved in. But we also always share your church first, your church tithes first, your
Mhm.
church missions offerings first. And then if you got some left over, bring it to us. And that's just our heart. Also in service, we have some people that come at different events. We had some show up from Coastal to help do that wedding reception.
That's
I
right.
was like, brought food and hung out. I'm like,
So
what?
good.
But they came here first, you know,
Yeah.
and so it's really cool. But yeah, y'all are so invested. I mean, y'all had work crews come in and build walls, and it's
We
just
love
fun. It's kingdom.
Y'all are awesome.
It's kingdom.
Okay, well, Pastor Jeff, we're at our fun last question. Did you read it?
Oh, I read it.
What is one thing that needs to be on our radar? Now, it can be a food or restaurant, book, podcast, but what is one of your favorite things that needs to be our favorite thing?
You know, first of all, Pastor Chad's pistachios. He's on point there.
Okay.
Although I would
Which he's
say,
sharing the love with Sean, our
Yeah.
creative and brand director.
Okay.
He brought Sean
He
a whole
does.
bag.
I love
Like
it.
he shares all of
We
it.
used to do
Yeah.
the 3-pack. It had 3 flavors.
Yeah.
And I'm personally, the roasted and salt is my favorite. But
Okay, well, you know,
And then
somebody anonymously, by
good.
the way, now that you brought that up, somebody listened to the podcast and sent him like 3 or 4 bags, big bags, and those
you
are
serious?
expensive.
Yes.
And we don't know who to thank. So if you sent them, he wants to say thank you. That was a
I
huge
love it.
blessing. And he can't, there's no return
They're so
label. We
good.
didn't know who to thank. So anyway,
I
yeah,
love it.
go
So
ahead.
my thing is this. First of all, football season is 10 days away.
Roll Tide, it is coming.
Come on. I mean, it really is just Bama season, but everybody else plays too.
Yeah.
But I would say
bless
that
their heart.
bless. I mean, we gotta have losers to have winners.
I mean,
you know,
right.
and so. But I would say that Bull Peanuts. I mean, there's a
Okay.
guy on Cottage Hill and University sits in a parking lot with a flatbed trailer
Shut the
with a
front
big
door.
boiling pot next to
Okay.
McDonald's.
Okay.
Every Saturday morning, I get there about 9 o'clock, sweep through there, buy my 2 bags of Bull Peanuts, and I'm game ready. I'm game day ready. And
That
so I
is
would
it.
say to you, I don't know the guy's name. I don't know if he has a business name. I call him the Bull Peanut guy.
At McDonald's.
At McDonald's with a flatbed trailer pulled behind his truck. And he sits up one of them cheap canopies, and
That
he just
is
sits out there
hilarious.
and he'll scoop them in a bag, and he can get your money for it too.
How much is a bag?
$4 a bag.
Now
I
that's
buy
some good.
2 and give him 10 and say thank you, roll tide, because he's a Bama fan too. So the
Okay.
peanuts are better. And so, yeah, I'm a Bull Peanut guy from Dothan, Houston
Yeah.
County, peanut capital of the world.
You know, I never
And
had a boiled
so,
peanut till I moved here because I mean I grew up in Memphis. I don't remember having boiled peanuts.
They're amazing, aren't they?
Memphis is known for our corn dogs,
Yes.
which let me just tell you about that. We don't call them corn dogs. Do you know what we call them in Memphis? Pronto pups.
Say what?
Pronto pups.
I'm going to stick with corn dogs. I'm sticking with corn
Fun
dogs.
fact. They're called Pronto pups.
Would you believe I got kicked out of a Cracker Barrel in Tennessee?
Really? What part?
Yeah, it was Nashville.
Okay.
I was
well,
on a trip. I went to Tennessee. I went to Cracker Barrel. They got Tennessee stuff everywhere because it's Tennessee.
Yeah. but
So
I'm
my
not a Tennessee fan.
waitress came
Okay.
up and I said, where's all the Alabama stuff? I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm being funny.
Yeah.
She didn't think it was funny.
No.
So she goes, a few minutes later, her manager comes up. Sir, do we have a problem? I said, what are you talking about? She
You
said,
were
well, we
kidding.
heard you made a comment about our stuff out. I said, no, I was just making a joke. She said, well, sir,
I mean,
we prefer you not.
yeah.
And, if you don't really want to be here, you can leave. And I was like, oh, bless your heart. I said, so they take
They're
football serious there.
sensitive.
They're very emotional.
Very
But if I name
sensitive.
corn dogs that should be a sign of sensitive people.
Well,
Because that is a
that's in
sensitive name
Memphis.
for
I don't know if it's in Nashville's about 4 hours away from
That's true.
Memphis.
It's a different
So
culture.
it's a different culture,
That's
but
funny.
we called them Pronto pups. So
Pronto
I never knew they were corn dogs for a minute.
Oh, my goodness.
Isn't that hilarious?
And I love corn dogs.
Okay, so boiled peanuts is on our
Yes.
radar. Where is he at McDonald's? The
University
corner of
and
University.
Cottage Hill.
Cottage Hill
next to the
University.
McDonald's.
Sean, do you know where that's at? Do you know the boiled peanut guy? Oh, Sean
He's
said
only
no.
there on Saturday mornings. Get him about between 8 and 11 because he leaves to go watch football.
It's on
so
our radar.
You better get him quick.
There you
Good
go.
stuff.
Well, Pastor Jeff, thank you so much for what you
Thank
do
you.
for Mobile. Thank you for listening to the voice of God. Thank you for following it hard. Thank you for being a man of integrity and a pastor that we can all look to say, you know what, God, follow me as I follow Christ. And I just want to thank you for that. Thanks for being part of Coastal Church, even
Love it.
across the bay, and everything you do in that community. We just love you.
Well, we love you
and I
guys.
appreciate you being
Our
here today,
family.
sharing your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks for being here.
Good times.
Thank you for listening to this week's Coastal Conversations podcast. All of today's references will be found in the show notes. Also, if you enjoyed listening, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. We'll see you at Coastal this Sunday as we pick the conversation up from here.